I wanted to chat to you today about sponsorship. It's been one of the most popular questions that our team are getting from organisers, not just our clients, but at Event Tech Live, people were stopping by our booth to ask us how we could help manage the sponsorship headache. So we're seeing more and more clients use FAIR to manage sponsorship, not just exhibitors. And there seems to be two key issues: selling sponsorship and sponsorship fulfillment. Can you talk to us about how people can use FAIR for those two reasons, maybe starting with the sponsorship sales?
Yeah, so sponsorship sales are very difficult to promote. It's not something that organizers tend to put on their website. It tends to reside in a PDF that gets shared at the time of sale, and you've got that challenge of is someone really going to spend 20 minutes of their time scanning and sifting through a PDF? They want something that's more visible, more immediate. They want to know the ins and outs of the sponsorship. And really that's the challenge from a sales perspective, is getting people's eyes on the sponsorship opportunities. So FAIR is quite good at doing that, because you've got 100% of exhibitors who have to go and complete their operational tasks like risk assessments. So you're putting all of those people in front of your shop where you can sell your sponsorship opportunities. So you're getting good footfall. The other element is that because we provide an e-commerce platform, the exhibitors can actually look at various different images. So you, as an organizer, you can present what your sponsorship opportunity looks like. You can describe it in long detail as well. So you can tell them how many people will pass by that advert or that banner, or how many people receive that particular email marketing campaign. So you can get more information over in a much simpler way, much more consumable way for the exhibitor and sponsor.
And we're seeing more and more of our clients actually using that e-commerce experience.
We are, yeah, especially Marketforce is a good example, where the day before the show, they sold one of their largest sponsorship packages. And it's something that they weren't expecting. They put it in there as we might sell this. They haven't sold that particular package before. So being able to actually make it so easy for an exhibitor to buy 2 days before the show and also fulfill it. So we'll get onto the fulfilling part shortly. But yeah, the ease at which someone can buy something, and how late in the day they can do it. I guess it's kind of that impulse buy, picking up a Mars bar at the cash desk. It's that easy to go ahead and buy something that will enhance your visibility at the show.
If somebody was saying, because some feedback we've had from sales teams are in and around the nervousness, they'd rather sell it on a more account management basis. What would you say to that? What about the e-commerce versus account management sales of sponsorship?
I've always been a great believer in selling something. So if you can sell something via e-commerce, there's no reason why an account manager can't phone them up and say, you've got a very good sponsorship opportunity there, but have you considered these other options? The difference being is you've got a financial commitment. At the very least, you've got to sell. You've got a package that you may not have sold before. So that account management, that sales process is much easier. You're then talking about upgrades, enhancing rather than selling completely cold. And that same principle works from a floor plan perspective. When back in the day when I was building the floor plan system and we were selling stands through it, there was the same fear that, well, what if someone buys a 9 square meter stand rather than a 15 square meter stand? That's fine. Sell a 9 square meter stand and upgrade them to 15. That's a much easier job than selling them 15 from the off. So that's really kind of where sponsorship sales are made easier. You're making them more visible. You're giving your account managers more to upgrade and enhance. I think the other element that we see is kind of building packages as well. So when you're selling your stand space, including sponsorship opportunities in those, the challenge in that is it increases that initial outlay, that cost, which could put someone off actually buying the stand in the first place. So it's kind of making these sales more incremental, giving a low barrier to entry and then upgrading thereafter.
And I suppose Adam thought, as a person who's actually delivering on the stand might be the marketing person, whereas the person signing the contract might be somebody else in the team, and therefore they see the stand opportunity and the sponsorship opportunities in different ways.
Yeah, and that's interesting because again, with the FAIR platform, it's unlimited users. So typically tasks that are created for the company that are exhibiting are multifaceted. You've got operational tasks, you've got marketing tasks, you've got sales tasks as well. So what you're doing is actually bringing all of those stakeholders, those company stakeholders, into a place where they can see the opportunities. So it's not just the operations person from that company that has access to FAIR, and they're probably not going to be that interested in the marketing opportunities because they're not wired that way. Whereas if the marketing team are in the platform completing tasks and they see what's possible and they see it in a more consumer way, that's better exposure, much better exposure.
So we solved sponsorship. What about fulfillment? Because that is a big challenge. A lot of people are nervous about selling sponsorship for that worry of how it's going to pass down to the team and managing the team. And sometimes, is it worth it is a big question. So how are people using FAIR, I suppose, to handle that challenge?
So the way that we're handling that now is through tasks. So if someone buys a product, then you can apply a task to that exhibitor for that product. And with a task, you can describe the artwork requirements. You can put in the artwork specifications as a PDF. You can provide AI files for someone to download and just complete the artwork. So it means that what you're receiving needs less approval. The likelihood is that you get the artwork in the right format from the off. But that's a semi-automated process right now. But because we're seeing so much demand for it, what we're actually starting to build is automated tasks. So as a seller of sponsorship opportunities, you can actually go into a product, create a task based on that product. So when an exhibitor buys any product, if it has a task associated to it, it automatically loads into a task list, automatically has automated reminders, has all of the specifications for the artwork. So you're automating that process from sale to fulfillment. We have full approvals based on tasks as well. So if it's going off to a third party, they can receive the documents, they can approve or reject it, provide comments, provide guidance as well. So taking the legwork out of it, taking the traditional challenges that you get with sponsorship, taking that out, taking away all of the kind of grey areas and making it much easier to fulfill.
Yeah, I think that's where Marketforce really come into its own. And I wondered whether you could talk about how they came to you, because obviously they've been a client now for a couple of years, but they've evolved and they applied FAIR in a way that wasn't necessarily how we thought the product would develop.
Yeah, that's true. And that's been on a number of occasions where I built FAIR to be very flexible because I know how different organizations work. They all work quite differently. They have their different processes. So I didn't want to have a narrow product and that people have to use in a particular way. So that flexibility is kind of giving people carte blanche of how they use it. And it's really interesting how people are using it. I mean, what was built as an exhibitor manual is now being used for collecting speaker bios and headshots. It's being used for publications to collect artwork for adverts. And so it's not just an exhibition portal, it's actually a publication portal now, which, yeah, again, when I was designing this, there was no intention for that. It's just the flexibility that's created it. So for Marketforce, they're using it to sell sponsorship when they had no plans to sell sponsorship through it. They didn't have capacity to sell sponsorship. I think that's the kind of major key is year one, they just wanted to make their exhibitor management easier. And it created so much more time for them that they could then start looking at other things, being more proactive with their customers, starting to consider other revenue streams and diversifying their revenue streams. So they then evolved in year two to actually start selling sponsorship and also fulfillment. I mean, one example is, I kind of referred to it earlier, was 24 hours before the show, they sold a sponsorship opportunity. The show was in the US and they still fulfilled it. They fulfilled it within a day. That's how easy it was. And it was easy, their words. So it's quite refreshing for me to kind of hear these success stories, because we're making people's lives easier. We're not forcing them to hire more team members to adopt another software product. What's actually happening is the opposite. They're enabling their team to do other things. So what may have taken three people to manage the exhibitors now takes two. So you've got one person free to manage sponsorship, and that's the exact example that we're seeing with a few of our clients.
Yeah. And what struck me with Marketforce is that they have actually doubled the amount of sponsors. So they, unlike some of our other clients who take on FFAIR to manage hundreds of exhibitors, they actually had only in the 30 different sponsors. They now have over 70, almost 80 sponsors. They've not had to hire anybody to manage that. And they've managed to scale just so easily and grow their sponsorship offering. They mentioned even things like baristas that are now able to offer things like that, catering options, which is just so alien, really.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's one of the real pluses for me, and also kind of having empathy for that, and being in a business that is now scaling. It's a real challenge. So being able to provide a system that allows other businesses to scale is a really nice success story for me. And I think with the diversity of what they can sell through the platform as well, and they're becoming more and more creative. So we're hearing what they're doing, and it's inspiring us to then share that learning with other customers as well. So we can actually go to other customers and say, well, we've got this one customer that's selling this through it, a barista that can print your face on the top of the coffee, that sort of stuff. And it's helping other customers learn how to maximize the potential of all of the sales opportunities, sponsorship opportunities, how to scale. So we've got lots of case studies that help other customers as well.
And that goes beyond revenue, right? We're talking about revenue here and making more money for the organizer, but one of the things that Alpha Events mentioned is that actually improve the look and feel and experience of their event, which really blew me away. But actually, it's, of course, if you're selling more sponsorship, it's what's going to happen.
Yeah, so it's sponsorship and also graphics, and improving the way the stands look. Because as an exhibitor, we've exhibited, and I've exhibited at various different shows, and sometimes you just take a pop-up banner and it doesn't look the best. So making it easier for exhibitors to buy graphics that enhance their stands, we had a kind of massive result again that we weren't expecting, where I think 90% of exhibitors ordered through the shop, which meant 90% of the exhibitors ordered graphics for their stand, which made all of the stands look more consistent. They're all printed via one supplier, so there was consistency, there was economies of scale. And the overall looking and feel of the show was greatly enhanced. And for Alpha Events, I think the other thing that we were surprised by was, again, freeing up their time to actually be more proactive with their customers, buying them time to actually phone people rather than receive phone calls. And really that was all down to automated reminders. So in the past, they had been the ones chasing the customer. You need to submit this, you need to submit that. And with the system doing that job, that kind of negative interaction with the organizer was via a system, no longer the people. So the people have a better relationship with the customers, which meant that they could actually proactively kind of advise them, say, oh, you might want to look at the graphics, you might want to look at the sponsorship opportunities, freeing up the time to actually allow them to make sure that the show looked better.
Yeah. And for FFAIR customers, it's just about adding, getting started. You don't need an extra add-on or anything. It's already as part of the platform.
Yeah, it's part of the platform, and pretty much everything we build is part of the platform. So it's, I guess, someone was promoting Teslas to me. They've got a Tesla. They were saying it's the only product that I've ever purchased that gets better with time, because normally cars degrade, they get worse, whereas with a Tesla, you buy the product and they do software updates that make it better every time. And that's kind of my approach to FAIR, is if you buy the product, we roll in these feature updates as we develop. We're very customer focused, so around about 65% of our features are requested by customers, and it goes through a kind of a vetting process. We have a league table that other customers can vote on these ideas. So when we're deciding on what to do next, we've already had the list prioritized, and we know what's going to give the greatest value to our customers, and we roll those in with the existing license. So yeah, all of the functionality you need is always going to be in the product to do what you need to do.
And we exhibit ourselves, so we know the frustration. It comes from both. We get the feedback from the organisers, but we're there with the exhibitors. We know what it's like.
This is why I launched FAIR. It was my own experience of pulling my hair out and asking the question, why is this so hard? And really, that was the light bulb moment for me, that we need to do something about it, because it got so bad that the effort to exhibit wasn't worth the return, worth the cost rather. And that was a real concern for me as an advocate of exhibitions. I kind of saw that we were making it too hard for customers and brands to exhibit, and that was my biggest fear, was we're damaging the industry without really realizing that we're making it too difficult. So that's really the idea of FAIR, and actually our mission statement is make exhibiting easy. So yeah, that's what we've tried to do. But yeah, we've exhibited at lots of shows, and the experience is different every time. They use different products, and yeah, it's a challenge.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're exhibiting at Event Tech Live in London, so we continue to exhibit.
Yes, and that's quite an interesting one, because they use our product, so we're using our product as the end customer, which is always, well, it's a mystery shopper experience, isn't it? And it's quite rewarding to use your own product to fulfill what you need to do pre-show, and it's a great event for us to be part of, and also a great customer to get feedback from as well, given their broad knowledge of different platforms. For them to be using ours is quite a thing, quite rewarding.
So if someone's got a question about sponsorship and using FAIR to manage their sponsorship, where do they start?
So we've got multiple channels to actually get in touch with us. You can email me directly, you can email Lisa directly. We've got case studies on our website. We've got a comprehensive knowledge base of information, but yeah, by any means, you can contact us.
Yeah, Lisa's our head of customer success, isn't she? And I was on a call with her this week with a customer, and they were just throwing situations and scenarios at her, and she was just like, "Yeah, this is how you do it. This is how you do it." She's the practical application side is brilliant. So I think she's seen pretty much all of what FAIR can do from our customers.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you very much.